All right, our next speaker is Dorothy Martin Neville. She's an author, she's a psychologist, she's a teacher, world traveler, and we are extremely honored today to welcome Dottie to discuss a method of hers called the WISE method. So I give you Dorothy Martin Neville, everyone.
Thank you. Hi. By the time you leave here today, my hope is that you will have a very different perspective on healthcare. I started out as a chaplain 25 years ago at Hartford Hospital. And when I was there in the waiting room for the physicians to come in, somebody would say to me, we need to go to room 523 to work with the liver. We need to go see the heart attack up in 722. My feeling constantly was there is much more there than a heart. There is somebody who's having a problem in relationship. There's much more there than a liver. There's somebody who has the illusion that they are powerless. There's somebody there who's feeling like a victim. There's a human being that is ill. There's a human being that needs to be nurtured, not just have a particular organ. It's as if we were all body parts. And we are not all body parts. We are so much more than body parts. And our parts even are integrated into each other. And we're so much more. About 20 years ago, we discovered a concept called cellular memory. And in the realization of cellular memory, we also came to see that every emotion, every feeling, every thought you have ever had in your entire life exists in every single cell of your body. So everything you have ever felt or thought or done is still in your body, everywhere in your body. We're finding that out through transplants. When people are getting transplants, they are a great book, Heart, The Change of Heart. A woman received a heart and lung transplant. She had the memories of the person who gave her this heart and lung. She had the memories, the experiences. She remembered playing football. She was a professional ballerina. But in every cell of our bodies, so when she received a transplant, she received his memories. She received his life experiences. Think about this. Think of how powerful that is. When that realization came about, there were so many changes that took place in healthcare. Larry Dorsey started writing books about prayer, the power of prayer in health. Candace Pert wrote a book called The Biology of Emotions. Bruce Lipton wrote The Biology of Beliefs, realizing that our emotions and our beliefs impact our biology. They impact our physiology. All right, powerful stuff. And we came to see that we're a hologram. We are so much more than physical. We are spiritual, we are emotional, and we are physical. And all disease begins on the spiritual level. Your spiritual belief systems, not religion, your spiritual belief systems are what will define your physical health. If you don't deal with your spiritual issues, life is hard, life is terrible, everybody's out to get me. You don't deal with those belief systems, you will have an emotional reaction. It will either be rage or depression. You hold on to that rage or depression too long, you will have a physiological ramification. All right? I'll give you a simple example. And this is real stuff. I've been in practice since '83 here in Hartford area. 2 men were let go of one of the insurance companies here. One man let go and was enraged, absolutely enraged. What he said is, I've given my life to them and they have destroyed me. I'm a man, I'm a provider, and they've taken my manhood away. He went home bitter and angry and resentful, emasculated. What ended up happening, his wife had to go to work. His wife went to work, emasculated him even more. The rage grew. He developed enlarged prostate, and eventually prostate became cancerous. The second guy let go at the same time, because they do these big sweeps, let go at the same time, went home and told his wife, I've lost my job. It's a job I hated, but it allowed you to stay home and put the kids through school, and it gave us the life we had, and now I'm free. He ended up getting a job over here at Lowe's in Bloomfield. He came home from work. His cholesterol went down, his blood pressure went down, his sex drive went up, and his love of life expanded. Think about this, the same thing that happens to us. It's not what happens to us, it's how we perceive what happens to us. Can you see that? People say, well, she's had a hard life. It's irrelevant the life she's had. Many of us have had hard lives. Truly, I'm from an orphanage. I was raised in an orphanage, taken from an orphanage, adopted by an Irish alcoholic cop, and raised in South Boston. all right? Was it a step up, a step down? It depends on whether or not you're Irish, all right? All right? It's another whole story. It was too long to fill into 18 minutes. But let me tell you, who cares? We've all got a history. What do you do with it is what counts, right? So take a look at this. Every single part of you. What happened to you when you saw that picture? Somebody went, poor little baby. Somebody says, thank God it's not mine. All right? That makes a difference. It makes a big difference. How you react to everything that takes place in this life impacts you physically. Because each one of you said, oh, thank God it's not mine. Think of what you did to your body. Huge, all right? Some of us hold on to rage, resentments, bitterness, anger. And when you do that, you're doing this literally to your body. Energetically, you're holding your body still. It becomes like a stagnant pond. And in a stagnant pond, you develop disease. Some of us choose to be filled with joy, with passion, with life, with vibrancy. And I believe that's the way we're meant to live. We are meant to be filled with vibrancy and aliveness. I truly believe one intrinsic belief governs it all. We are embodied souls. We are intrinsically holy. We are intrinsically good. Every one of us. Some of us choose to live in that belief. We all leave it. But most of us choose to live there most of the time. Some of us instead choose to live in defense. And when we live in defense, we don't respond, we react. And when you live your life in reaction, let me tell you, talk about being grounded and in your body, you don't have time. You're too busy reacting to every expected assault that comes your way. All right? Looking at all of this, I have developed over 26 years the ability of looking at patients and seeing, looking at their personality. In the first hour, I can tell you the diseases are going to be developing if they choose to come from defense. We all have personality styles, and I'm going to go through very quickly 5 personality styles that are based on John Parakis' work in core energetics. Great, great man. 5 basic personality styles. We have all of them, but to varying degrees, which is what gives us different personalities. That brings up a point I want to stress for you. We are not our personality. One of the saddest things I find in my office is people who believe they are their personality. We are so much more than personality. We are embodied souls. We are infinite wisdom. We have vitality. We have so much more to us than just a personality. What a waste of time if that's all we are. We develop our personalities to either be safe or to be loved. Notice that. I'm going to go through these quickly, but we develop them to be safe or to be loved. Your personality today is not the same one you had 20 years ago, God willing, all right? Or the one you had 10 or 5 years ago. Hopefully, through your life experiences, you keep changing your personality. You keep smoothing out the rough edges, all right? And being a wee bit Irish, I had a wee touch of sarcasm. It was the way we did power. We could knock you off at the knees. I learned when I left Southie that not everybody in the world is Irish and not everybody in the world does sarcasm. And you learn how to deal with people who can't handle it, the babies, all right? You learn to deal with them. And then you grow up and become sophisticated, whatever on earth that means, okay? When I left the projects, I moved, I wanted to go to college. I couldn't because our school was unaccredited. And so I decided I'm going to become a Catholic nun. So I became a Catholic nun and realized they don't allow illegitimate children into the convent. So I left the country, joined a community far away, and then they sent me back here, and as Sister James Marie, I became college educated. It's amazing what happens when you've got determination, when you know what you want, and you go make it happen. That's personality, but so much more. My personality gave me the strength and the stubbornness to keep going after a dream, right? But the embodied soul that's filled with life and force and vibrancy and the gift of adventure in this journey, spiritual belief system, can go and make things happen. Let's look at the first one. The first aspect, and this is all of us, we all have a piece of this, is the creative intellectual aspect, all right? These people who are primarily this way, they are oftentimes, you know the people you talk to when nobody's home? You want to shake them and say, yoo-hoo, did you hear that? And they can parrot back to you in 2 minutes, it's gone, all right, when they're in defense. But this personality style tends to be very sensitive, they're very spiritual, often very psychic. They're also the absent-minded professor, you know? They are great intellectually, but they don't know how to exist real well in the world, all right? When they are together, they are the leaders, they are the big thinkers, they are the visionaries. When they are in an unhealthy place, okay, we have our defenses and we have our soul's essence. When you're in the soul's essence, you're in the highest element of whatever your personality is. When you leave your soul's essence, the realization of who you truly are as an embodied soul, and you live in defense, you go into another whole place. And this is where, in this particular personality style, when they go into defense, they see the world as a dangerous place. They believe that in order to be safe as they go along this journey, they need to be invisible. How many people do you know who play it invisible? All right? They feel trapped as if they don't belong here. There is such a predictability to disease. As I said to you, somebody walks in, I can tell you what disease they are going to have. I can tell you everything about them. Take a look at this. Those people tend to have a difficulty with bone disorders. The reason being that they're not home. They're always walking into something. Don't you ever see people, you take a shower, you find a big black and blue mark on your leg saying, how did that hurt? How did that happen? Now that I know it's there, I'm in pain. You've had it all day. It didn't hurt you. Now that you see it, you're in agony. All right? Notice how that happens. These people here, because they're not in their bodies, they're not relaxed, they tend to develop great anxiety, maybe even panic disorders. All right? The next one, the empathic structure. These are the people who really, truly, they're interested in helping others. They become great social workers. They're easy to trust. They're non-threatening. They're wonderful people. They're like the teddy bears you want to hold, all right? When they are not in the essence of that place, that holiness of who they truly are, when they're in defense, their belief is, I can't get enough. You know, some people you're with in 10 minutes and they sucked you dry, all right? So that's a belief system. They believe their needs will never be met. Huge sense of entitlement. The world owes me. Really? I don't think so. I think that's an illusion, darling. Okay, take a deep breath. What they are prone to is addictions, low immune function, diabetes, obesity, anorexia, bulimia. Again, they can't get enough. So they can't get enough drugs. They can't get enough alcohol. They can't get enough sex. They become the workaholic. They can't work enough to get enough done. There isn't enough time. It's a belief system, not a reality. We all have the same amount. The next structure, this one develops. The nurturer, the masochist, this loyal little dog here, all right, this border collie protector. These folks are very reliable when they come from their soul's essence, when they come from the truth of who they really are. They are reliable. They are hard workers. They are loyal, persevering, and capable of great love. Amazing people. They love completely. These are the parents, the mother, the dad, who truly know how to love. They're the partner that truly sees who you are because they've taken the time to do so. This is when they come from the essence of who they truly are, when they come from their embodiment, the embodied soul. When they leave that truth, when they go into fear, they go someplace else. Notice if this is you. Do not be analyzing your husband or your boyfriend or your girlfriend. Look at yourself, all right? It's amazing how easy we are at intellectualizing and assessing everybody else, because nothing has anything to do with us. When they are out of their truth, they are in defense. And the belief system there is, the more I suffer, the more people will love me. Perfect example, my mother, God bless her soul, she's passed. When my kids were very little, I asked my mother if I could borrow $1,000. You know how children, they give you these notices when they're on their way to school that they should have given you 3 weeks ago? And they needed money right away for camp, for school. And I called her and she said to me, sure, Danny and I don't need to take that vacation we've saved all year for. I said, Mom, I need it for 3 weeks. This is March. When you're going on vacation? November. Mom, you'll have it in April. That's okay. I don't mind. We'll skip our vacation. You know, now you know in 10 minutes, every brother, and we're Irish, I've got a few, every brother and sister I've got is going to know that Dottie stopped Mommy from going on vacation, which made her gift so much better because she could sacrifice enough to give it to me. One of you, 2 of you may have suffered through this gift of love, all right? All right? And there's also a belief I must never be angry at people and make them uncomfortable. I am powerless. I am victimized. It's an illusion. The diseases these people are tending to have, eating disorders, ulcers, liver problems, they see themselves as victims, breast cancer, chronic fatigue, persistent fatigue. I could go on and on and on. I'm trying to give you simple things to have you get the point, all right? Women with breast cancer that I've worked with, under chemotherapy, they can barely walk and they're going home to do laundry because they don't want to stress their husbands out. All right? They will have a reoccurrence unless I can work with them and change their perspectives. This point here, the leader, the controller, when they are healthy, when they're in the essence of who they are, the qualities that they possess, they are great leaders, powerful speakers, they're generous, very entertaining, great folks to have in your life. When they leave that powerful, wonderful place of leadership and who they truly are, and they go into fear and defense, what you find out is they need to be right. They don't know how to do power at this point, so they do control. Powerful people never control. People who control are always in fear. They want all the power in the place, but they want none of the responsibility to make it happen. So if you're with them, they usually marry the masochist because they love all the responsibility and they're terrified of the power. All right? There's a reason we do what we do. Their belief is, don't get close to me unless you look up to me. The common illnesses these folks end up with: benign essential tremors, gallbladder, all the rage is held in your gallbladder, fibromyalgia, heart attacks, strokes, prostate disorders. All right? And lastly, the rigid structure. When it is healthy, they are high achievers. They get things done. They are terrific. They are successful, high energy levels. They work fast. You like having those folks around. They make things happen. When they are not in the truth of who they are, they're in defense. They believe they have to work in order to be okay. If I am not number one, I don't deserve to be here. If I am not the best, it isn't good. I don't deserve to live. Good enough is never enough for these people. All right? And lastly, the disorders they tend to develop, disorders of the heart and the lungs, thymus. Constipation, they're so busy holding themselves perfect. We used to say little tight-ass little people sometimes. They hold themselves so tight and so rigid, constipation becomes a problem. And because they're held so tightly, circulation is minimized. There is no energy flow. Nothing is happening in their bodies. You can see there is absolute predictability to disease. Take a look at somebody's personality and you can understand the disease. Truly, it becomes so easy. It's a science. After 26 years, you can whip through this. The point I want to make here is that when you are happy with who you are, when you realize you are the gift you bring to the world, it isn't what you do, it isn't what you can give, it's who you are. If you walk in a room and people say, it's not because you have a lot of wine on you, okay? It's because you're there, your energy will change the whole place. You're the gift you bring to the world. When you realize that, as an embodied soul, you are the gift of the planet. Everything else is details. You walk through your journey, you deal with the obstacles that come, you deal with the people you meet. Some are easy to love, some you work at loving, but you're there. You're alive and you're vibrant. And if you can do that, you will have your health. Thank you very, very much.